Ever feel like you're spinning plates, juggling your goals, responsibilities, and ambitions, only to realize some are wobbling and about to drop? Right? It's in these moments that emotional resilience becomes your key to staying grounded and laser focused no matter what life throws your way. Emotional resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about staying aligned with what truly matters, even when the pressure is on. It gives you the clarity and strength to cut through the noise and keep moving towards your vision and intention with intention and purpose. Hi, I'm 𝗲𝗀𝘀𝗶𝗹𝗶, self-care strategist for high-achieving women like you, women who know what it takes to succeed, but also understand the cost of burnout and misalignment. My mission is to help you reclaim your time and energy so that you can thrive personally and professionally without feeling pulled in a million directions. Today, we're going to dive into 4 key aspects of emotional resilience. First, we'll define what emotional resilience is and why it's essential. Second, we'll explore how it keeps you centered and helps you maintain clarity. Third, we'll identify some of the common signs that signal a need for resilience building. And finally, I'll share actionable steps you can take right now to strengthen this vital skill in your life. By the end of this session, my goal really is that you will feel equipped to recognize the power of emotional resilience as a tool to help you stay aligned, grounded, and focused no matter what challenges come your way. So let's get started. So first things first, what is emotional resilience? Let me tell you what it isn't before I get into what it is. Emotional resilience isn't about managing stress in the broad, undefined way that you've heard 100 times before, right? It's not about that. What it is, it's your map for navigating life's complexities. It's a skill set that you cultivate that allows you to adapt, recalibrate, and move forward when things don't go as planned. Resilience doesn't make the obstacles disappear, but it can provide you with the clarity and tools that you need to make intentional decisions that align with your vision, your mission, values, even when life feels overwhelming because you have so much on your plate. And I get it. Think of emotional resilience as the map that helps you find the clearest path forward, no matter how chaotic or challenging the terrain becomes. It's about intentionally responding to the demands of life in a way that supports your energy, clarity, and priorities, rather than simply reacting or getting stuck in a loop of frustration. For example, when your calendar is packed and life seems to demand more than you can give, resilience is what allows you to pause, reassess, and decide, what can I delegate? What needs my attention right now? What aligns with my mission? And most importantly, what can I let go of? It's about you creating a pathway through the chaos, not just enduring it. It's your map. But here's the key. Emotional resilience is only as effective as the alignment that guides it. While resilience serves as your map, self-alignment is your compass. The map provides the routes, but the compass ensures that you are heading toward your true north, your purpose and values, and your bigger vision. Without self-alignment, resilience might help you push through the day, but you could end up somewhere that doesn't really align with who you are or what you want. When alignment and resilience work together, though, they allow you to confidently face life's complexities while staying true to your vision. Without resilience, you may struggle to adapt or find clarity in the face of challenges. Without alignment, you risk moving forward in ways that don't honor your priorities or the mission that you're on. Let's say you're experiencing one of those days where everything feels overwhelming. It could be even today, with work deadlines, with family commitments, the needs of your family, personal commitments. Instead of getting stuck or spiraling, resilience enables you to pause, to take a deep breath and focus on actionable steps to move you forward, which could be as simple as blocking out 10 minutes to reset with a grounding practice or prioritizing 3 tasks that truly move the needle. And again, this is where your calendar is so important. It can be your friend or it can be your foe. You have to know what's on your calendar. You really need to know how you structure your days, your weeks, your months, your quarters. It makes a difference. Meanwhile, alignment ensures that those actions are not just efficient, but they're meaningful, keeping you connected to what matters most to you and helping you to make decisions with confidence and clarity. So resilience isn't about enduring or coping. It's about intentionally navigating. It's about creating a system that allows you to stay grounded, focused, and true to your values, even again in the most challenging moments. And with resilience as your map and alignment as your compass, you're just not just getting through your day, you're actually moving forward with purpose, with clarity, with focus. Let me give you another example. Imagine you've had one of those mornings where everything feels off, right? Work demands piling up, and maybe you get a call from your kid's school, which now needs your full attention. Like you have to drop everything to get right over there. And you're questioning, oh my gosh, like I have so much going on. How am I going to get through the rest of my day? It's in these moments that resilience and alignment work together. Again, resilience helps you pause to assess the situation and find the next best step for you. And alignment reminds you of your bigger picture, why you're doing what you're doing, and it gives you the focus to prioritize what really matters. So when you approach resilience as the map, it shifts from being a reactive tool to a proactive one. It's no longer about just bouncing back. It's about moving forward with intention, with focus, and being really clear on your next moves. And that's how you create not just success, but success that feels aligned with your values, your vision, and your purpose. So now let's talk about how emotional resilience fuels clarity, because that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Clarity is everything when you're a high achiever, right? Balancing strategic goals, family life, your personal fulfillment, and of course, the inevitable challenges that life throws our way. It's about having a crystal clear understanding of your vision, of your mission, of your values, of your priorities, your why for what you do, and the ability to align your actions and your decisions with those intentions. Now, emotional resilience serves as that critical skill that cuts through the mental clutter, allowing you to remain focused and intentional no matter the circumstances. Imagine for a moment you're a six-figure wellness coach preparing to launch a new program and everything is on track. But days before the launch, a key partner pulls out unexpectedly, and it feels like the rug has just been pulled out from under you. Without emotional resilience, this situation could spiral into overwhelm, into you second guessing what you're doing, or even reactive decisions that lead to further setbacks. But when you've cultivated emotional resilience, your resilience, you approach the challenge differently. You pause, you take stock of what's within your control, and you focus on actionable next steps. You assess your resources, you adjust your plans if you have to, and you communicate transparently with your audience about the upcoming launch. Being that transparent, authentic self, that's where authenticity really shines. Instead of derailing your progress, the experience sharpens your ability to adapt and strengthens trust with your clients who see your authenticity and poise under pressure. So this is how emotional resilience fuels clarity, because it gives you the tools to separate the noise from what matters, enabling you to make decisions that align with your larger vision and values. Again, resilience doesn't erase challenges, but it does equip you to face them head on. It's the skill that ensures that you can pivot effectively, maintaining momentum even when the unexpected occurs. And that momentum is the difference between staying on mission and getting sidetracked by the chaos. By sharpening your ability to focus and adapt, emotional resilience doesn't just support clarity, it enhances your capacity to lead with intention and create meaningful results, both in your business and in your personal life. So let's talk about some signs that to keep in mind so you can become more self-aware and how to recognize when it's time to strengthen your emotional resilience. These signs often whisper before they shout, and being aware of them can really help you address challenges proactively rather than reactively, right? So the first one is persistent overwhelm. You feel like you're constantly juggling a lot of things, but no matter how much you accomplish, there's always more piling up. And that's pretty much everybody's life most of the time. We have so much to do, right? We live in a really busy time. This sense of never catching up often signals a lack of alignment between your actions and your priorities, leaving you emotionally drained. The second one is difficulty making decisions. When every decision feels monumental or you second guess yourself repeatedly over and over, it's often a signal that mental clarity has been clouded by emotional noise. And resilience, what it does is it provides the tools to cut through that noise and focus on what matters. The third one is emotional fatigue. This goes beyond being physically tired. Emotional fatigue shows up as a lack of motivation, irritability, feeling off without a clear reason. It's a sign that your emotional reserves are depleted, making it harder for you to adapt and stay grounded. Number 4, reactivity instead of intentionality. If you find yourself reacting impulsively to challenges rather than responding thoughtfully, it's a sign that your resilience could use some strengthening. Your resilience will allow you to pause, assess, and act with intention instead of being driven by immediate emotions and being reactive every second of the day when things happen, when things get hard. Number 5 is neglecting your self-care. I really think this is so important, why I always come back to it. When self-care feels like it's a luxury rather than a necessity, it often is a red flag. Because when you ignore your well-being to focus on external demands, that only exacerbates your stress and misalignment, making it harder to navigate challenges effectively. And the last one, which I really feel is so important, and I've talked to some people about this, some women, people that I know that are close to me. And this one I think is really important because it's, I think, tied into the part of the why we do what we do. And that is loss of joy. If we don't have joy, I mean, even when life looks good on the outside, even a successful career, a supportive family, and achievements that you've worked so hard for, if you feel that loss of joy, this can manifest through your emotions, where you're feeling disconnected, where you're experiencing emotional exhaustion despite outward abundance. You know, if you've ever found yourself thinking, I should feel happy, but I just don't, that's a clear signal that you need to pause and that your emotional resilience may need your immediate attention. And this loss of joy often stems from feeling overwhelmed by external expectations, sometimes even our own expectations that we're putting on ourselves, the responsibilities of life, or the inability to process your emotions in a healthy way. And it's a call for you to connect or to reconnect what truly fuels your happiness and to create space for self-compassion and support. So by becoming attuned to these signs, you can actually take steps to rebuild your resilience before things spiral. Remember, resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about staying aligned and grounded, even when life feels like it's throwing everything at you at once. Now, another thing I want to add is that these symptoms can also be telling signs that you're in a burnout phase or you're headed for burnout. And so that's something else to be aware of. I know a lot of us just focus on the symptoms, like, oh, I'm just feeling overwhelmed today, or I'm really tired, I just don't have the energy, I didn't sleep well last night, and not recognizing the patterns. You know, you could have been burning the candle at both ends for the past couple of weeks, you know, going to bed really late and still, you know, waking up and thinking, oh, I've got this. But over time, it builds up and you start to feel it. And if you're feeling that way right now, that could be a sign that you're in a burnout phase. And it's really important to stop and take stock of what's going on, because getting full on burnout is so much harder and takes longer to come out of a burnout phase. And I can speak from experience because I've experienced it multiple times. And many of the women that I've had the privilege to talk to about burnout and about their own burnout stories have told me the same thing, that it can take a lot of time. So what I'm trying to say is that building emotional resilience isn't about quick fixes or surface level strategies. It's about creating a sustainable framework that supports your vision, that supports your mission, that supports your purpose. And another key dual element, your time and energy levels, right? That's so important. So I want to just leave you with some steps to help you strengthen your emotional resilience, at least even if you pick one and start figuring out like, okay, how do I start paying more attention to my patterns and how I'm living my life, and really starting to recognize those signs so that I don't have a loss of joy, right? So I don't start feeling that I'm out of alignment and I'm emotionally drained or physically drained. So the first one is, number one, when emotions run high, the simplest, most effective action is to pause and breathe. I know this is so easy, but think of it this way. It's a reset button for your mind and your body. It's not just about calming down. By centering yourself, you create the mental space to make intentional, high impact decisions instead of reacting impulsively to what's happening around you. So you could try the practice of the 4-7-8 breathing method, where you inhale for 4, you hold for 7, and then you exhale for 8. And usually you're inhaling through your nose for 4, you're holding for 7, and you're breathing out through your mouth for 8. It's a quick way to ground yourself and regain, calm and then clarity, and even the most challenging of moments, like, okay, what's going on around me? But it allows you to calm first so you can start focusing on, okay, what's happening, so that you can course correct. The second one is focus on what you can control. I know so many people think, they get so hung up on the things that you can't control. Like, why can't this go right? Like, why didn't my camera work, or why didn't my microphone work properly? And it's like those things can throw you off kilter. They just can. Little things can throw us off if we focus on it. But if we focus on what we can control, that is the important piece to the puzzle. Great leaders know that energy spent on uncontrollable factors is energy wasted. So by narrowing your focus to what's actionable, what you can do, shifting from reacting to proactively leading yourself into doing something that you have control over, you can then be able to stop and pause and ask yourself in those challenging moments, what can I influence right now? What's one small step I can take to move forward? This mindset doesn't just have the potential to reduce stress. It really has the potential to enhance your ability to lead with confidence and agility, even in high pressure situations, right? Now, the third one is tracking your emotional patterns. Emotional resilience isn't just, again, about handling emotions in the moment. It is about understanding your patterns so you can manage them proactively. So imagine knowing your triggers before they derail your focus. That's the power of a tool that I actually created. I call it the Emotional Triggers Tracker. And it's where it gives you the insight into your emotional patterns and equips you to respond with intention rather than reaction. So things that used to, or things that are really triggering you and get that emotional reaction, when you learn how to manage those proactively, they become less triggering for you, and you're able to respond from that proactive state of mind and not being reactive. So let me tell you about how to use the Emotional Triggers Tracker. It's a powerful tool for developing self-awareness and clarity around how you're emotionally wired and how you typically respond to things, whether, again, you're reactive or you're proactive in your responses. So the first step is to notice. When something triggers an emotional response, take a moment to observe what you're feeling and track it back to the thought that sparked it. Yes, the feeling does not come first, although we think it does. We skip right over event to feeling, thinking, oh, the event made me feel this way. But it's typically not true. There is that, what I call the space between moment, that thought, right? So it's, what is that thought between the event and your response, your emotion. That's where you're going to find the clues. You write it down in your journal or your notebook and be as detailed as possible about what happened, like what was going on around you, who was there, how did it make you feel, why was this happening? Like, was there a specific thing happening? Like, you could be in a meeting and somebody shut you down and you feel really embarrassed, and so you now can go and write about it. And really, again, it helps you to develop and identify patterns in how you think, how your thoughts influence your emotions. Again, even subconsciously, our thoughts, and how you may be more reactive to certain triggers than others. Now, the second step is to acknowledge. Acknowledge your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Okay, this is not about you acknowledging your thoughts and feelings and then beating up on yourself. Again, okay, I want you to avoid letting that negative self-talk take root or replaying the situation in your mind on a time loop. It doesn't help you to stay in that loop at all. And because all that does is it keeps you in the suffering state on a time loop, and it steals your time when you stay in that state of being. So you want to be able to keep yourself from going into that next stage of, oh, I'm going to start beating myself up, and say, nope, I'm just going to acknowledge it. And then simply write underneath, after you've written out what happened, all of those things, then you're going to write underneath that and say, you know what, I see you and I acknowledge you without shame. This step reinforces self-awareness, and it creates space for growth, and it allows you to extend yourself some grace. The third step is to embrace. Recognize that experiencing emotions is natural. It's a natural part of being human. Embrace the fact that you're becoming more aware of your thought patterns and your emotional responses. And when you do that and you embrace that, then you write down, I embrace my emotions as they're part of me. I know it sounds simple, but a lot of the time we don't own it. We don't recognize it. We don't take it on as our own because we feel shame for it, thinking like, why should I embrace my emotions as being a part of me? I feel ashamed of how I responded. Instead, just embrace it. It affirms that your emotions, when you write this down saying that you embrace them as part of you, what this is doing is it's affirming that your emotions don't define you, but they are essential to your self-understanding. Now, the fourth step is to reflect. Reflect on what you've written and the meaning you've given to it, because we usually assign a meaning, right? So something happened, we know that there's a space between moment of that thought, and then we have an emotion, and that the thought and the emotion together is what's fueling and giving us that response. So reflecting on what you've written and the meaning you've given to it, because we usually assign a meaning to it. Oh, that person disrespected me. In the meeting example, that person disrespected me. That means that there's something about me that's not good, right? Acknowledge that, right? Just reflect on it, because we usually assign that meaning to it that is not necessarily true, but in the moment is how we feel. We feel that it's true. So when you're reflecting, ask yourself things like, does this thought have to be true? Like, does it really have to be true? And do I want it to be true? Again, that's something else too. Do you want it to be true? Because typically you're going to say, no, I don't want it to be true. And the next one thing is to ask yourself, will holding on to it serve me, or would letting it go be better for my well-being? If the answer is that it doesn't serve you, you've reached a pivotal moment for change, right? And finally, the fifth step is to release. Choose to let go of the thoughts and feelings that no longer serve you. And when you do that, right underneath it, I now choose to release this. Visualize those emotions floating away and allow yourself to move forward with the clarity and focus that you need. Even if even if you're unable in the moment to go back through it, just know you can revisit what you've written down later. And the beauty about that is that you'll have a true accounting of what really happened based on how it made you think and feel, so you can objectively review it. And this practice will allow you to see where you have patterns of how you get triggered and your responses, so that you can actually start to proactively take steps to let things go more easily. Now, one more thing, it's not that certain things are never going to trigger you again, okay? Or that you won't respond the same way, because this is life, right? In the moment, sometimes it's like we can't help ourselves. It just happens. This is more of an exercise to help you figure out the why behind the emotion that's getting triggered, which is having you react a certain way, so that you can start to proactively make some changes. Now, before I move on, let me give you an example and then a step you can take. So maybe you're in a meeting. I talked about being in a meeting, but maybe you're in a meeting and you're saying something and someone cuts you off. And instead of calmly saying, hey, one sec, please let me finish my thought, you clam up, your face gets red, you possibly feel embarrassed, and you say nothing for the rest of the meeting. Has this ever happened to you? And when you're asked about it afterwards, you say that, oh, nothing's wrong, that you just figured you had said enough and that you brush it off as if it didn't matter. But deep down inside, you are fuming. That's the time to journal it out. Go through the emotional triggers tracker process to notice, acknowledge, embrace, reflect, and release, and write it all out. And once you've done that and you've had time to cool off, to cool down, read over your notes, go through the event and what happened, why it triggered you the way it did. You know, most of the time when we take a deeper reflection moment after, we will realize that our reactions, they tie back to past experiences. You know, for example, your response in clamming up and getting all red in the face and shutting down could be from a childhood experience of, let's just say, an experience in the classroom where you were called on to speak and one of your peers, maybe someone you felt intimidated by, interrupted you. You felt embarrassed, you clammed up, you got all red in the face, and you found yourself never really wanting to volunteer to speak up again because you felt inadequate. That was the meaning you assigned to it, right? You weren't good enough and you were inadequate. So does this hit for you? Because I know this could be something as well. I mean, listen, as kids, we do what we can to support ourselves, to provide that safety for ourselves. But as we get older, we actually do have the ability, the response ability, as people would say, to change, to allow ourselves to grow from those experiences and change our responses so that we can live our lives with more joy. The thing is, you don't have to let your past define your actions today, and they don't define who you are. It's in the getting to know you, like to know who you were, that shaped who you are and who you're being. That will help you to take steps for changes that you want to see happen. So recognizing your patterns and understanding the why behind your emotional triggers is a powerful step forward. But resilience isn't just about self-reflection. It's also about how you treat yourself in the process. So again, when you're reflecting, it's not about you beating yourself up. It's about just going through and getting an actual accounting of how you felt in the moment, what you were thinking in the moment, what happened, who was there, what was happening, and get it down on paper so that you have it. Even if you can't go through all the steps right then, you can at least have that to go back and read later after you've cooled off. And you're able to then objectively look at it and go, this is what happened. This was exactly what happened. How did I feel in that moment? What was I thinking? Okay, this is what I was thinking. And then being able to say, well, do I want it to be true? That meaning I gave to it. Can I actually change it? Yes, you can change it, right? But that's the power of going through an exercise like this, because it can help you, and it can help you build emotional resilience. Now, the fourth suggestion that I have for you to help you strengthen your emotional resilience muscle is simple, really. And I'm certain you've heard it before, and I kind of mentioned it a little earlier, but I bet it's probably one of the hardest things for you to do. And that is to extend yourself grace. You know, high achievers often set the bar so impossibly high for themselves. They're striving to meet every goal and exceed every expectation. And on top of that, it has to be perfect. While ambition is powerful, holding yourself to rigid standards can lead to burnout. Again, you might not be thinking about it, you'd be thinking about the symptoms, but those symptoms are powerful enough that they can push you into a burnout phase. And if you're not careful, you get all the way to burnout. It's going to take you time to get out of it. Now, grace is not a weakness. It is a strength. And when you allow yourself moments of self-compassion, it's going to help you to sustain your performance, to stay aligned with your values and maintain your momentum without depleting your emotional reserves. Remember, progress is more important than perfection. In fact, perfect doesn't exist. So we're always, if we're that person that's chasing after perfect, it doesn't exist because we're not perfect, right? We do make mistakes, but that is okay. Granting yourself grace will create the space to adapt and grow, even when things don't go exactly as planned. So when you implement these steps, you're not just giving yourself tools to help you build emotional resilience. You're actually creating a foundation that will help support your clarity, intentionality, and sustainable success. And again, these strategies are not about pushing harder. They're about working smarter and leading with purpose, even when life feels chaotic. Again, so when people say I'm resilient, I can keep moving through, but they're not taking care of themselves, that's not really being resilient. That's just pushing yourself to the point that eventually those symptoms are going to start compounding and could find yourself in a burnout phase. So why does this matter? Well, emotional resilience is more than just weathering life's challenges, right? It's about thriving in every area of your life. When you cultivate resilience, you equip yourself with the tools to remain grounded and intentional, even when the unexpected arises. And this matters because your ability to stay aligned with your long-term vision hinges on how you respond to the inevitable ups and downs of life. For high achievers, clarity and focus are non-negotiable. It's true. Emotional resilience helps you to navigate setbacks in a way that can turn challenges into opportunities for growth, learning lessons. We all can learn from those mistakes, the things that happen, our responses. We can learn from that. And it can help you by allowing you to lead with confidence, prioritize what matters, and navigate life's challenges without compromising your well-being or your values. So whether it's making pivotal decisions in your business or showing up fully for your family, resilience is an important part of the puzzle to creating a life that aligns with your vision, your mission, and your purpose. Now, if today's conversation sparked ideas or questions, let's explore how these strategies can work for you. If you go into my headline, you can schedule your complimentary wellness strategy session with me, and together we'll discuss practical ways to help you align your actions with what matters most. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, just go into the About section. You'll find my email there. Send me an email and I can send you the link to book your session. Remember, and these are free, by the way, they're complimentary. Remember, resilience isn't a single act, but it's a skill set that you build over time. It's about navigating life's complexities with focus and intention. And with each small step that you take, you hone your skills, helping you to strengthen your ability to stay aligned with what matters to you. Again, it's not about striving for perfection, but about making meaningful progress. So imagine what it could feel like to navigate life's challenges with clarity, with resilience and energy, staying focused on what truly matters, your business, your family, and yourself. Don't wait to take that first step towards building the clarity and balance you deserve. Book your call and let's see what's possible. Thanks for joining me today. And for those of you who do book a strategy session with me, I look forward to supporting you on your journey. Take care, and I'll see you next time.